Green Exodus. What is this space? It flows out of the work and the growing community of Green Exodus, which has been supported by the United Church of Canada Foundation, incubated by Ralph Connor Memorial United Church and friends and colleagues. We're exploring the call to become a new kind of human within and as an expression of the earth, of the biosphere of the earth. I wanted to pause at this point to say I was very much aware as I was preparing to come this morning. The overall mothership name of this endeavor is Green Exodus, and I am very aware that this work is evolving. The language, the experiences, the words are evolving in community. So it's because we are gathering here together that explorations are happening, new things are being learned. We're stepping together into some new ways of knowing the earth, new ways of knowing our theology, our spirituality, our cosmology. And it's happening because we are choosing to be together as a group and make this endeavor. And I guess I own my own gratefulness that you're here because I value and appreciate and need, I guess, this context for this work to further evolve. So I feel like we're being led together, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you, each of you, for your showing up and being on this exodus, this journey to discovering what we're talking about when we say becoming an eco-mystic. So I'm grateful that you are a participant and a creator at the same time. We're co-creating something together with the divine and with the earth, and glad to be doing that with you. I think each of you know a little bit about me. I have 2 adult children. I'm a retired psychologist, mainly been doing community development work most of my life, live in a co-housing community, and love lots of things: poetry, art, walking, theology, convening, cooking, lots of things. So as we begin today, I was reflecting on where we've come from so far in the last 2 weeks. We started off with the element air and breath. We started to explore allurement, the sense of being called and attracted to things, and the way that relationship is foundational to the universe, the connections of things, and the emerging life that comes out of those connections. And then last week, we were caught by the wonderful phrase from Iris Murdoch: love is the incredibly difficult realization that something other than yourself is real. And out of that, each of us created an amazing poem. So I sent that poem to a colleague and friend of mine, and she worked with it a little bit and kind of played with it a bit. And so what I would like to do this morning is to read it as we begin. So what I need is 5 people. If you could put up your reaction hand, who are willing to read this poem. And then what we'll do is when I put it on the share screen, you'll see there's numbers for each stanza. So I will allocate a number to each person who would like to read. So I need 5 readers. If you could put up your hand: Dennis, Reed, Amy, 2 more, Ellen, and Roger, I think. All right, so do we have 5? Okay. So Dennis, you're 1, Reed, you're 2, Amy, you're 3, Ellen, you're 4, and Roger, you're number 5. Okay. So when we read it, if you could read the stanza with your number, you don't need to say the number. It's just there to help orient who's reading. So now I will share screen.
So, wait, Sarah, am I the only Ellen on here, or is there another one?
I
Oh, it
think
looks like okay. Just
great.
want to make sure.
So the
And
one
Sarah,
thing,
I see no numbers in the poem.
I know that's because I haven't posted it yet.
Okay, thank you.
What I was going to say was the one other important thing to do is the readers need to remember to unmute, which is often kind of a step we forget. So let's see here. And if you're not reading, if you could mute, that would be great. All right. So let me just get. All right. So Dennis, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
All right. Go
Can
for
you
it.
hear? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Water gurgling in the soil after a heavy rain. Rain-filled streams, falling clouds, mist rising in the forest, a lichened forest on a rock, wet autumn leaves, wind, and the sound of leaves. They went through the trees, the wind in the high, huge cedar tree. A tree in a park nearby, a butterfly drying its wings on a leaf in a tree, tinkling leaves, my crabapple tree, and messy apples.
My cats who want attention, deer on the street, owl flying in the early morning, a large, beautiful raven bobbing on top of a tall cedar in front of my house.
Please read the love is part too. Thank you.
Love is the extremely difficult realization that something other than oneself is a yellow flower. By itself, it greets you in this beautiful green field. Smile, bow your head, and honor the yellow flower and all the green earth, small garlic cloves.
Real, bald eagle soaring overhead. Real, breathing with a fig tree. Real, the anxious dog whom I had forgotten to feed with his supper during a busy evening. Real, a flu virus. Real, Azzy the rabbit. Real, glorious colored Gatineau hills.
Real. Ani. Guinea pigs have emotions. Happy, sad, grief, joy. They must pray too. Real. The corn coming from the earth, water, air, and sun is real. Real. My neighbors around the campfire. Real. A penny from 1952, turning up in the soil of the garden that's taming me. Real. A squirrel with a bushy tail huddled from the rain. Real. The cycle of air through all living things.
Well, thank you. So Tanya took the words that each of you had shared, and she didn't edit them at all. She just arranged them, that she choreographed them. So thank you for that beautiful poem that we created together, reminding us of where we've been so far. So today we're going to be looking at Earth, and we're going to be focusing on the element Earth, and we're going to be following up on the opportunity that you had to work with the meditation provided by Mark Coleman. So one of the things that is seen as a cause of climate change and the climate emergency that we are in is the sense of separateness that we have in the 21st century, the sense of separateness from the earth, that somehow we have landed here on this planet and it's like a stage, and we are acting out the dramas and traumas of our life. And then, according to some traditions, we are whisked off to heaven, which is a better place. And that is maybe perhaps part of it. We talk about 6 degrees of separation when we have the wonderful serendipity that my child's teacher is actually the daughter of a best friend I had when I was 8. We talk about that degree of separation. But with the earth, it seems that somehow we have double-digit degrees of separation that has been accumulating in, with, and alongside our evolution as a species and as civilizations, and sometimes for good reason or inevitably. So one of the things I wanted to ask you to do is to write in the chat, and this will come easily for some people and less easily for others, depending on what books you're reading and what is top of mind for you. But I'm wondering if you could just very briefly write any reasons that you think have contributed to our sense of being separate, our sense of not being part of the earth. If you could just take a moment, and if something comes to mind, if you could just write that in the chat, and we'll see what accumulated wisdom is gathered between us. Heteropatriarchy, thank you for that word, Beth. I'm going to go away and look it up and make sure I understand what it means. Our busyness, consumer lifestyles, colonization and relationship with the land as property. Thank you. Christian religion, a notion that money is the measure of success, our frantic lifestyle, fear. Oh, they're coming fast and furious now. I love it. English is my mother tongue. Death has been removed from life, the sanitation of death, moving away from most of us farming our own food, getting our food from a store wrapped in plastic. I don't feel separateness as much as powerlessness, lack of awareness about our connection, electric garage door openers. We do not engage with our neighbors or even nature around us, elevating the human above all earth, all else, and above all earth. That was interesting. Fear, science, too busy to notice, urbanization, illness and plague, move to urban from countryside, believing we are not animals, that we are above animals. Wow, there's a lot. I'm glad I didn't try to kind of tell you this, because obviously you don't need me to tell you this. Go and subdue the earth, have dominion over it, be masters, a very poor translation of stewards, be gardeners, be caretakers, living in our heads, forgetting that our bodies that need to touch and intertwine with others, and especially the ground we are on. Dominion theology. Wow, there is huge richness in what we understand about our sense of separateness from the earth. And then what I would like to do, and again, I'm sure this will, I know that we all know quite a lot about this, but I'd like to just also put in the chat, what do we know are the consequences of this sense of separateness? What are the emerging, not the emerging, our awareness of them is emerging, the consequences of this sense of separateness. So you're welcome to write that in the chat as well. Damage to ecosystems and watersheds, climate change, apathy, current climate crisis, extinction of life, loneliness, missing out on opportunities for renewed strength, loneliness and despair, extinction of species, ignorance, disbelief that the earth loves us, destruction of the life surrounding us, addiction to fossil fuels, no sense of what's best for the next generation, disconnection from God and each other, climate refugees, disappearance of beauty, the most technologically savvy cultures ever, and the possibility of the end of history. Increased self-centeredness, solastalgia. I'm gonna have to look that word up too. Depression, ecocide, genocide, extinction events, climate crisis, not caring for animals, eating food products instead of food, shredding of life-giving systems that we and other species rely on, no care for the common home, isolation. Whoa, let's take a moment and just let that settle for a minute. Dave.
Good morning. Solastalgia is an Australian term, a technical term for the psychological longing for the earth, the sun, the way nature used to be.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Try and make a poem out of these truths, Dennis suggests. Thank you. We'll take that for sure. Right. So we're gathering that. I just want us to hold it, and we'll do our breakout rooms shortly, and there will be an opportunity to process whatever is alive for you, whether it is gift or grief, or some other thing. So we'll be coming. Don't be afraid that what's been opened up will not be attended to through our time together. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to honor our the work that some of you did, the earth work this week. I'm just curious how many people were able to go and find a place outside and do the meditation that was offered by Mark Coleman. Maybe if you were able to, Dave, you could just wave your hand. Whitney, Ellen, some folks were able to do that. Lovely. Okay. That's great. So what I'd like to do is read a poem. Amy, did you have something else you wanted? No? Okay. I'm going to read a poem for you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use Mark Coleman's words from this week as a bit of a meditation for us. For those of you who were able to do the meditation outside, and I did it, it was interesting how it was complicated. I had to find a place, and I felt weird, and I did it in a dog park, and I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I don't have a backyard, so I live in a inner city area. So there were lots of interesting things on the journey to actually honor this activity. So for those of you who were able to do it, when we do the meditation, I invite you to go back to that place in your imagination. For those of you who weren't able to do it, I invite you to pick a spot that you would like to, where you would like to have done it. And then you can just follow the meditation as we read it together. But I'm first going to read an amazing poem by Nancy Paddock, which I invite you to enjoy. Lie Down, it's called. Lie down with your belly to the ground, like an old dog in the sun. Smell the greenness of the clover leaf. Feel the damp earth through your clothes. Let an ant wander the uncharted territory of your skin. Lie down with your belly to the ground. Melt into the earth's contours like a harmless snake. All else is mere bravado. Let your mind resolve itself in a tangle of grass. Lie down with your belly to the ground, flat out on ground level. Prostrate yourself before the soil. You will one day enter. Stop doing, stop judging, fearing, trying. This is not dying, but the way to live in a world of change and gravity. Let go. Let your burdens drop. Let your grief charge bleed off into the ground. Lie down with your belly to the ground, and then rise up with the earth. still in you. And in the space created by that poem, I invite you to take some deep breaths, perhaps close your eyes, if that's a helpful thing to do. And if you were able to do the meditation outside, I invite you to return to the place where you did it in your imagination. And if you were not able to do it, I invite you to pick a spot where you would like to be able to be outside, paying attention to the earth. As you take your seat, spend a moment gazing at all the expressions of earth around you. Take in the trees, rocks, grasses, plants, and soil. Sense how they all come from the earth and are expressions of the earth. Then close your eyes or lower your gaze. Turn your attention inward. Observe how the landscape of your body feels as you take your seat on the ground. Sense all the ways your body is in contact with the earth below you. Feel the intimacy of that connection through the sensations of touch in your feet, calves, thighs, buttocks, and skin. Notice how the earth is always there, steady, strong, and abiding. Its presence is forever available. Sense how it actually supports you physically, providing steady ground wherever you are. How does it feel to sense that support under your bones? As you tune into the earth, sense its vastness, spreading out before you in infinite directions. As part of the earth, you too are not separate from that immensity. Does anything arise within you when you open awareness to that sense of immensity? Now imagine you are like a tree, that you also have roots going deep into the earth, moving through topsoil, down into crevices and cracks in the stone. Sense how you too are rooted to the earth and can draw on that steady, grounded quality in the way trees can. And as we come to an end of this imagination, I invite you to sense in your body how you can carry that grounded quality with you wherever you go. And as we come to the end of the meditation, I invite you to thank the place that you actually were, or you wished you were. Honor that space with your gratitude. Okay. I invite us back to our room, our Zoom room together. And what I would like to do is we'll break out into breakout rooms at this point. And I invite you to just share from whatever is alive in you at this moment. What is alive in terms of gratefulness or grief or grace? Just to speak from your heart about what is most alive in this moment. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably take about 2 minutes? I think we'll take 2 minutes each for each person to speak. So again, I really invite you to honor the container we're making and really use your phones. Set your timer for 2 minutes. When the person who's speaking is speaking, nobody interrupts the other two as we're listening. Just honor the person with our attention and our presence. And then when it's our turn to speak, we speak from what is true for us. We don't need to comment on what's just been said. We just create a container with our presence and our attention and with the boundaries of time. So if you can use your phone, or if you don't have one, ask someone else to time for you. And we'll take 2 minutes each for some reflections on the amazing richness that we've already experienced this morning. And Ellen is going to do the magic.
Yep.
If she's able.
There may be, you may find yourself in a dyad. It's all based on the numbers. So here we go.
Right. So now we would like to kind of hear the opportunity follows the kind of breakout rooms into small groups to come back into the large group, and would really like to welcome what percolated, what did you notice, what was alive in the sharing that happened in your small breakout room. Really, we want to make space so that in the large group we can hear this. What was alive in what was being shared? Really encourage people who haven't spoken yet into this space to feel comfortable to do that, as well as people who are comfortable.
What was oh,
Summer, and then Marianne, if you can use your the hand in the reaction section at the bottom of your page, that'd be great. Summer.
Sure. I just will share that in our group, two of us found the exercise to be kind of an opening into much more awareness. For me, it was awareness how I came to my space and wanted it to suit my needs rather than becoming a part of nature around me. And so that was a good awareness for me of how I wanted to dominate the space for comfort and for ease, and how as I sat there longer and longer, it really created an opening for me to think about how to become more one with my surroundings.
Thank you. Okay, we're done now. You said it all, Whitney. Thank you. Go ahead, Marianne.
I think in our group, I think there was a feeling of wonder and the oneness with nature, with the earth, but also a sense of grief of what we have done to the earth as a human race.
Thank you. Dennis.
I was a couple of weeks ago, and then Sarah, when you said at part of the earlier meditation of sitting and being a part of and rooted, and the earth and the immensity of the space. And I had read this article a couple of weeks ago, but it was saying that as the earth rotates right now, we are going at a speed of 1,000 miles an hour. That's how fast the earth rotates. That's nothing. As the earth revolves around the sun, it goes 63,000 miles an hour. And then the entire solar system within the galaxy is moving at 633,000 miles an hour. And the entire galaxy in the surrounding universe is moving at about 1.3 million miles an hour. And so it really any moment in time, in the beauty of this Earth, I mean, it makes me feel the jewel that the Earth is even more. It's in this, it's interconnected to this whole thing. And at any moment in time, we're going 2 million miles an hour. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Dennis. Anything else that was alive or percolated up in your group? Anybody else who'd like to share before we move on? Okay. Ruben.
I thought I heard a theme in our group of the way the earth will support and renew us if we allow it to.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mary Lou?
I think that one of the things that impressed me was how many different ways we can connect with the earth and how easy it is to connect with the earth if we just allow it to happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary Lou. Well, thank you, everybody. As we start to, and then there was a comment by Rachel, some thoughts are arising about the different types of soil and how we're connected both after and during our physical life. Thank you, Rachel. So as we're coming to the close of our time together, I would like to say that the next chapter from Mark Coleman that can be our guide this coming week is chapter 7, Exploring the Body as a Doorway to Sensory Connection. So I invite you to move to that chapter in the book if you have it. And I will send out, as I have been doing, a photocopy of the pages. My preference is to, that you would get your own book. But I'll do that again this time. And as we come to a close, I'd like for us to use the waterfall that we had used, I think, on the first time, where if you can write kind of what has changed for you as a result of this time. What has changed for you as a result of this time? Perhaps nothing has changed, but perhaps something has changed. So I invite you to reflect on that and put in and then we'll all push send at the same time, if we can manage that. So for now, just write in the chat, what has changed for you as a result of this time? I'll give you a moment to do that. Okay, if we can push send, we'll see what's happened. Am heartened, noticing the self-expression of the earth, expansiveness, deeper awareness of the simplicity of oneness with the earth, reminded of places with their stories and memories that ground and sustain me, deepening sense of being earth, recovering radical hope expressed in tiny actions. I am not alone in my climate grief. Increased gratitude, remembering one face can so wonderfully change the cost the course of the moment and day. Intentional to taking time to slow down and notice. Reminder to slow down and notice all that is around me. Greater appreciation for the diversity of thoughts, feelings, and experiences. I am not alone. A feeling that I am not alone. A bit more grounded. Continuing awareness, humbling connection, shared understanding of our connection to the earth. Honor being dirty in the sense of the earth. Importance of meditating in a group. Wow, that's gold. Thank you. Well, I feel deep gratitude and a sense of compassion and caring and connection. So I'm grateful for that. And one of the things that happens in the Buddhist tradition is that after they have done spent a time meditating together, they dedicate the goodness of the experience back out into the universe. And I know some of you may be aware that today is a day of prayer for what's happening in the Middle East. So I would like to dedicate the goodness of our time together to the situation in Israel and in Gaza, all the people impacted by that, and all the people who are endeavoring to make things happen, choices and decisions towards peace and safety for the people who are in that place on our planet right now. So we take all of the goodness of this and send it to everybody who is being impacted, the human beings and the earth and the creatures as well. So we offer that back to the universe. So thank you, all of you. Deep gratitude and blessings on your day, and look forward to seeing you next week. Let's turn off our muting and say a big goodbye, and bless everybody as we go on.
Blessings.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Blessings and
Bye.
peace.
Be well.